there's one more section in Chapter 1 that we need to take a look at, Section 1.6 on circuit elements. I don't need to write the name. So we have two types of elements in a circuit. You're going to have passive and active. So passive elements cannot generate energy. Those are things like resistors, capacitors, inductors. Those store energy, but they don't create energy. A light bulb is a passive element. Then you have active elements. Active elements do generate energy. Those are your batteries, generators, op amps, which we don't get to until later. Now that's the two types of circuit elements. We don't use those two words a whole lot, but it's important for you to recognize them. We have two types of sources. So this is an important concept. Our first source is an independent source. And you can tell an independent source from a dependent source by its shape. So an independent source is a circle. So this is an independent voltage source. That could be AC or DC. This is an independent current source. Current, because it has the arrow. We know it's independent because it's a circle. Again, AC or DC. Oh, AC, DC. Then we can also draw a voltage source like this, or like this. Those typically we draw only for DC sources, and that's again only for a voltage source. The other type is our dependent sources. So a dependent source is a source that's controlled by something else in the circuit. So an independent source stands on its own, independent, things like a battery. If you open a package of batteries, that is an independent source. It doesn't need anything to provide power. A dependent source needs something else. And we draw those with triangles. No, we don't. We draw them with diamonds. My kids have messed up my shapes in my head so much, I don't even know them anymore. Okay. Diamonds. This is a diamond. So we can have an independent voltage source. Dependent. Or we can have a dependent current source. The arrow can point either way on that. Same thing with the voltage. It doesn't matter, it just depends on our circuit. What the source depends on makes its name change. So this is a voltage source. If I say it's 3 Vx is the value. Somewhere else in my circuit, Vx exists across a resistor or a capacitor or somewhere. But Vx exists in my circuit. And this value is 3 times that Vx. So this is called a voltage-controlled voltage source. If I have that same type here, so a dependent voltage source, but it is 10 IB. Now it is a current. I don't know why I wrote an I. Well, I is current, but I wanted to write a C. It's a current. Why am I just completely blanking on this? Current control. I could not think of the word controlled. I think it's time for lunch. Current controlled voltage source. Again, let's look at our two types of dependent current sources. If this is 9 VY, and this is a voltage controlled current source, and if this is 7 IX, now it's dependent on current. So it's a current-controlled current source. So we get a lot of C's in that one. So that's our main types of sources we'll use, and this concludes Chapter 1.